Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power of Integrity podcast, where leadership aligns with principles. I'm Ralph Adamo, and I can't be more pleased to have one of my good friends, colleagues, Nick Cacucciolo, the vice president of Mountain View Chevrolet, a dealer for a number of decades. And Nick's story is really interesting, and his whole path and journey has been really bright and really with a wonderful future ahead as well. Nick, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ralph. Excited to be on the show. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, Nick, I'd always like our audience to learn a little bit about our guests. Would you kind of tell a little bit about your personal journey that's led you to where you are today,
Yeah,
professionally and personally?
absolutely. So I started in the business in 1990. Been with the company 35 years now. Uh, Kind of a long story. Long story short, started off washing cars. Wanted to make the move into selling cars at 18 years old, and moved up the ladder. Sold cars for about 6 years. Moved up into a finance manager, sales manager position with the company, which was Mark Christopher Auto Center, our sister store and flagship store in Ontario. And then in 2000, an opportunity came up to purchase, which is what we have now, is Mountain View Chevrolet in Upland, California, and worked for the company about 10 years. And then in the last 15 years, I was offered the opportunity to become a business partner, and am now vice president, and been with the company for about 35 years now. So it's been a great journey, and very excited business to be in. So
Wow, 3.5 decades. And it's really like a Horatio Alger in some ways, starting out washing cars, like starting in the mailroom.
absolutely, yeah, it was fun. You get to experience from ground up, washing cars, selling cars, working multiple positions, learning the business. There's a lot of various areas of the car business between your service department, parts department, sales department. So to experience all those departments over that 35 years has really been a great learning experience.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dave Thomas, I think I've said this before on the show. Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, said, well, he gave out an award every year. He called it the Mop and Bucket Award to his franchisees. He said, you need to know how to clean your bathrooms if you're going to own one of these operations.
Absolutely, and it's important experiencing those positions because you learn to appreciate everybody in the store, not just your general manager, but your service porters, your lot porters, everybody from ground up. They all contribute and work very hard to make your business successful. So it's been a great journey.
Yeah, and normally I don't ask this question, but it feels like it's appropriate. Can you maybe share before we hop into the topic of integrity? Can you share a little bit about what you think kind of the secret ingredients have been for that long term success of this dealership and your personal journey?
It's a lot of we have 80 employees, and I've always told the employees, if you don't enjoy coming to work every day and working that 8 hours, and it takes a lot. I mean, the car business is, it's being in sales is a commission based income and salary, and you have to work a lot of hours to be successful in the car business, and even in service and parts, and that's a lot of time away from your family. So you want to create a family environment at the dealership, which is what we've done, and it's great for myself and my business partner knowing that all of our managers and a lot of our staff have been with us 10, 15, 20. I even have some 25-year employees.
Wow.
So that says a lot when you have people that enjoy coming to work and doing what they're doing. It's not just about the paycheck. You got to create a fun, exciting atmosphere as well. And on an ownership level, I feel like we've done a great job with that, because if we didn't, we wouldn't have people with us for so long. So our turnover is very minimal, and we're highly regarded in the industry as a dealership where people want to work, and that says a lot, and that's a great feeling knowing you have people wanting to come work for you every day. So that's probably our biggest takeaway of being a successful dealership is our long-term employees, and everybody here is treated the same in his family. So
Yes, there was a wonderful book. I know I mentioned it on a previous show about employees first, because many people think the recipe is customers or clients first. And the fact of the matter is that your people first, who then ultimately extend that same sort of generosity, courtesy, goodwill to the client customers before anything is taking care of those employees.
Absolutely. If you have happy employees, your customers will be really happy to do business with you. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and the reverse couldn't be more true. If unhappy employees turn away, the customers are turned home for
Absolutely.
sure.
Very true. Very true.
Right? Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to buy a car from someone that's miserable.
You do not.
No, 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 please let me move on.
A car is your second biggest purchase, so you definitely want to make sure you have a happy, knowledgeable employee to take care of your customers. So,
Absolutely. Well, turning our attention to the topic for this show, Nick, what does integrity mean to you?
I mean, there's a lot of layers there. I mean, integrity. Being in the business 35 years, I've experienced and seen a lot. There's been a lot of changes. We've dealt with stuff as recent as COVID to manufacturers being on strike to recessions and just various things. And I want to make sure every customer that comes into the dealership and has an experience here feels like they were treated fairly. Um, they had a great experience. For us, we do a phenomenal job with our customers and our repeat customers. And to have repeat customers in a business like this that's so very competitive, to have them come back every 2, 3, 4 years to purchase cars and refer their friends and family, it's a feeling to where I know we're giving the customer the best value out there that we can offer. It's not about, selling a car and making a lot of money. It's about selling a car and earning a long-term customer to where they feel like their family. And, you go and get a haircut from your barber that you see every time, all the time. You go to your same doctor, you go to your same dentist. We want that feeling here because it's very easy for a customer to go down the street and see various of other dealerships and makes and models. So it all boils down to the customer. You want your customers happy, comfortable. You want to make sure they get taken care of with a great deal, and you want to build a relationship. So I mean, that would probably be my biggest thing.
Yes, absolutely. Can you share a moment or an example where the principle of integrity played a key role in your professional journey?
Um,
And maybe I'll add on to that. Can you remember a time where your integrity was challenged or there was a challenging situation and you had to hold your ground on integrity?
for us, there's a lot of the consumer thinks that there's a lot of the manufacturer is the same as the dealership when it's not. They're two separate companies. So there's a lot of times where the dealers are challenged with the manufacturer to where we go to battle for our employees and the consumer on getting incentives, a better built vehicle, making sure that the consumer is getting the payments. There's so many various things going on there, and we're constantly in a very positive way. I don't want to say battling, but working with our manufacturers to where there's time where it might come back a little aggressive on the dealers because we're fighting for the consumer, we're fighting for the employees, and we might have agreed to disagree, but that would probably be the biggest where my integrity gets challenged would be with them. We really want to increase sales, and we want to do everything possible to become one of the most successful dealers out there. And I would probably say that the biggest challenge for us would probably be the work we do with the factory, and they're very supportive. But there's times where we challenge each other a lot. So our integrity gets questioned on that at times. But that's kind of the cost of doing business. They're here for a reason. We're here for a reason, and we both challenge each other all for the right reason and right cause because we want to make sure we're the best brand out there. And to be the best brand, we got to have the best customer service and the best product out there to make sure the customer's happy and satisfied with their purchase. Because as we all know, vehicles are so expensive now, and with high interest rates and the cost of doing business with the way pricing's increasing, it's just always a battle for us. So we try to
Yeah.
get the cheapest and most affordable pricing possible to pass on to the consumer. So um, I don't know if that, hopefully that kind of answered that question there.
Yeah, but maybe drilling down a little deeper, can you remember a specific incident, whether it's with a larger institution like a manufacturer, or particularly with an individual that was a counterparty, where there was a lack of integrity when they approached the relationship with you, and how that went?
Um, Lack of integrity. You know, we've been very blessed up at this location, being here a long time. I can't really recall an incident with the consumer to where we were challenged with our integrity. Um, there's always times where a vehicle, is sold and a customer will challenge us with, maybe having several issues with a particular model, whether it might be, a repeat visit, or they bought a vehicle and they're in for service quite a bit, and they feel that there's times where maybe we don't do enough to get that car serviced or repaired um, in a timely manner, where you have the factory involved and you have to rely on them to come out and inspect the vehicle. Um, but I don't know, consumer wise, if we've really had much of an issue there. I've never really been challenged because when a customer comes in and they try to challenge us, where I feel like my integrity is getting, you know, jeopardized, we usually we spring into action fairly quick and resolve any issues that we might have with the customer. It's a funny thing, because when a customer is not satisfied and happy with business, they tell a lot of people, and they tell more people when they're unhappy than they do when they're having a great experience and purchase a vehicle. So it's very important to us, being a smaller store in the city of Upland compared to these big auto centers. That one person, that one customer means a lot to us. So we do everything we can to make sure they're satisfied and happy. So I don't know if that quite summed that part up, but uh, every one customer is very important to us. So we take that one customer very serious here.
Yes, and I would imagine, the industry has instituted years ago. Heck, I probably when you first started, CSIs, customer satisfaction indexes, and put everybody on alert that we're paying attention to how your customers see you as a dealer.
Yeah, absolutely. CSI is a big part. General Motors does a fantastic job with a great product, the best lineup we've ever had, and we're proud to represent Chevrolet as a dealer and sell the fantastic product that we have. I personally think, and not just saying this, being in the business and being a partner in a Chevrolet dealer, but I think we have probably, if not one of, if not the best products out there. Having the number one selling full size truck in Southern California, to a phenomenal sports car with the Corvette that was a new body style just a few years ago. And then our SUVs, and especially our EVs, being one of the biggest EV franchises in the United States. We've year over year just continued to increase our EV sales. We have charging stations now for the consumer that's free of charge, where they can come and charge their vehicles. So, I mean, we really do those extra steps to make sure that customer service level is as high as we can get it. And plus, we also take a lot of notes and advice from our consumers. If there's suggestions and ideas that they have, we try to implement as much as possible, make their experience much easier for them.
Yeah, and CSI makes it very quantifiable, or has quantified that level of satisfaction very clearly, and it's not nebulous or subjective any longer. It's very objective.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So I wanted to ask you a couple things, because I know you and Christina fairly well. That's Nick's
Yeah,
bride. Uh, One of the things we have been kind of quizzing our own clients about and trying to encourage them, and this is kind of off topic, is what's on their bucket list and how are they doing? And I know that you certainly do a lot of wonderful things in life, and I wonder if you're hitting those top two, three, four things that you and Christina have in mind on your bucket list. And would you mind sharing a couple of those things that are on there?
Yeah. So just for the audience, I've been married to my beautiful wife for 9 years this July. And we have three great kids. Two of our girls, our oldest two, work at the dealership in our business development center. And our other daughter, our middle daughter, is in human resources, our human resource department. And then we have a youngest of 22, graduated last year from Pepperdine, and works out in Los Angeles. And our goals is, besides personal with our family, I'd like to take the next step with the company as well, and eventually expand and roll out additional franchises, and work to move to and purchase other locations to where we have a great staff, and that they have future opportunity, and where we can expand business and continue the success that we've had into other locations. So yeah, there's a lot of great stuff there. So
Yes. How about on your personal bucket list, those kind of dream things you want to do?
you, we've been very fortunate, and being in the business so long. At 52 years old, I'm not planning on going anywhere. We do a couple of nice trips a year, and just personal stuff, getting out and exploring the world. My bucket list is probably more business. I'd like to see my long-term employees, and actually all my employees, be successful and help them to grow. And I think a way of doing that and move up in the company would be by expanding the operation. I get a great pleasure and excited to see um, the staff and the employees move up in the company. We believe in growth within, and like to hire people and train them and motivate them and get them to that next level where they can get into management roles, and where
Yes.
they can do great stuff with their families as well. Um, so personal goals, I would say probably to expand our operation, even though that kind of ties into the business a little bit. But mainly for me would be to share the experience and the story that I've built for my family, to where we have the opportunity for other managers and employees to build that same story and expand and grow their families within the company.
Yes. Yeah. And one of the things that I'd love for you to share, kind of as we're coming around the corner here, um, with our time together, and this has been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
Nick, can you share, like, for our younger audience, because we've got a number of them tuning in and listening in, uh, what you would give them as advice when starting out? You've got those, three daughters that have started out recently, but then again, Nick started out in a way that was different. What's the advice you'd give to our folks that are either creating their own startups, joining companies, becoming professionals? What's the thing you would tell them about their career track and the
I,
inside?
I would I would tell them the same path that I was on. I started young. When you're young, you have all the energy. You want to work hard. You want to gain as much knowledge as possible. You want to listen, keep your ears open when you get into the business that you're in. You pay attention, take care of the customer. I tell the employees all the time, when the day comes and you feel like you know everything about the business, that's probably the time you want to get out of the business. I always tell everybody, you want to try and get a takeaway of something every day in the business you're in, even being the top performer. If you can learn something new every day, that's just that many more tools in that toolbox that you have. And it speaks unbelievable. It just miles and miles of opportunity there. I mean, I tell my two girls in the company all the time, they both started at 16 years old, filing in the office. You want to work hard, give it your all, and do everything at a young age, because as you get older, you want to spend more time, as you have your own family, with traveling and with kids and all that. You don't want to be someone that's a late bloomer working really hard when you have that opportunity as somebody that's young coming out of college or out of high school and giving it your all at an early age, because as you do that, then there's that just much more opportunity for you in the long run. So I would say, work hard, give it your all. When I say work hard, you don't want to have to put 10, 12 hours days in. You could be very successful and have a productive 8 hour day, 4 or 5 days a week, and enjoy your time off, your family. So yeah, I mean, work productive, work smart, not hard, and yeah, just give it your all. I tell all the people in the store here, everybody's going to make mistakes. If we're having more successes than we're making mistakes, then that was a great day. We've accomplished what our job is. So
Yeah, yep, yep. So, Nick, would you, as we're wrapping up here, if folks want to get in touch with you or Mountain View Chevrolet, what's the best way for them to do that?
So you could go to our website at mtvchev.com or mountainviewchevrolet.com. And then there is a about us, which is a meet the staff, where you could send me an email direct. Or if you want, you could reach out to me by email at ncacucciolo@mountainviewchevrolet.com. Or you can call our line and leave a message at our phone number, which is the 909-985-2866. My extension's 300, and I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, thoughts, please, reach out to me. So
Yeah, only one clarifying thing: Cacucciolo might not be at everybody's tip to spell. Would you maybe give that email?
absolutely. So it's Cacucciolo. And if you go to our website, there's a meet the staff page you can click on, and all my information's on there. So
Yeah, so N Cacucciolo at
Mountain
MT
View Chevrolet.
Mountain View Chevrolet.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Well, Nick, I really enjoyed our conversation. You've been a wonderful guest. I'm delighted. I know we're going to catch up with each other personally in the not too distant future. In the meantime, thank you so much. And I know our audience is going to enjoy and take a lot away from this.
absolutely. Thank you, Ralph, for having me. It's been a great time. Thank you. Looking forward to it again. Thank you very much.
Been a pleasure.
The information presented in this program is provided for informational purposes only. The information is believed to be reliable, but no guarantee of accuracy is made or implied. Expressions of opinions are as of this date and are subject to change without notice. The information in this material is not intended as tax or legal advice. Please consult a legal or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. This information does not constitute a solicitation or an offer to buy or sell any security. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of capital. Ralph Adamo is registered with the securities and are offered through Kovac Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, 6451 North Federal Highway, Suite 1201, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33308. Telephone number 954-782-4771. Investment advisory services are offered through Kovac Advisors, Inc. Integrity Wealth Management is not affiliated with Kovac Securities, Inc. or Kovac Advisors, Inc.